Hey everybody, this is Raven here. So I got a lot of response from a lot of people looking at the video about me talking about trucking and how good of a job it is. Well, apparently that got me thinking of maybe I should talk a little bit more of what I got. And first, hold on, let me toss this. Didn't work. Here, have your gum. Did it hit you or no?
No.
So anyway, I want to talk to you a little bit about the equipment I've got. We drive a 2015 Cascadia Evolution from Freightliner. This one has 653,000 miles on it right now. We got it when it just was under 600,000 miles, so we put almost over 50,000 miles on it already this year, and that's just us. This thing has anywhere between like 300 to 500 horsepower. It depends on what engine they put in this one. This one is I believe it's a Detroit 15 on this with an auto shifter on it. And we also have a 53-foot trailer from Great Dane on the back with a reefer unit on it, a C600 from Thermo King. And right now I'm just about to do my pre-trip. Now, one of the things we do on the pre-trip, we have to always do these, we have a pre-trip and a post-trip that we have to do each day. And that's to make sure that we're safe out here for DOT. There's some like 160 different items that we have to check, and some of them are just duplicates in different spots, but we still have to check them. Everything from the tires all the way down to small little cotter pins that hold things in place. It's amazing. Something as tiny as, about as small as a dime could be holding something important onto these trucks. And yet that's something that you have to do every day. You can't skip them. You've got to do them, and they have to be recorded down. We have electronic logs. I'd love to show you the system, but I don't know if there's anything proprietary on there that I'm not allowed to show. So I'm going to leave that out for right now. Any of you that are already truckers, you already know what this is sort of like. You know what is expected of you. If you're not one, this is something that you'll learn when you go through your CDL school. And most of them, you usually have to take a test on the pre-trip at some point. That's because they want you to know backwards and forward what you're supposed to check. Now, I could do a pre-trip on this entire truck and film it for you. The problem with that is that even if we had, say, I went to another Freightliner truck that was in this yard, and we're at a truck stop here in Lost Hills, California. There's going to be variations from every truck out here. People have different things that they put into them. I've known trucks where they had a different steering system than the standard. You could have a different model and they move certain things around. And that's not even getting into whether it's a Volvo, International, Kenworth, or a Peterbilt, which are some of the other major brands. There's also Western Star. And if it's an older model, it might not have some of the newer stuff that's out there. So when you go to your school, keep that in mind, that when you finally get to the company you're going to, you might have a different truck. So the first time you're going to get behind the wheel of that truck when you're solo, make sure you take a look over it. Do a pre-trip on it. If you don't know where certain things are, find out. Chances are you're not going to get a brand new truck right out the gate when you start with a company. You're going to get one that's older. And it would be a very good idea to do a full, complete pre-trip on that truck to find anything wrong with it. That way, if it needs to get fixed, you get it done then, rather than it breaking down on you out on the road, or even worse, you going through a scale, going through a weigh station, they pull you into an inspection, and you get the fine for it. That is a thing that does happen. So that's a way to protect yourself. Now, somebody did say that they told me that they were told by a truck driver that they got paid $300,000 a year, and that was after expenses. I'm going to call BS on that one, because unless you're running a fleet, it's pretty damn near impossible to be doing that. You would have to be living on that truck 24/7, have probably the best of fuel economy I've ever heard of, and be running only the high dollar loads all the time. That's very hard to do with just one truck. You get burned out. I mean, some of these guys, I know this truck in July, we did close to 25,000 miles. It takes a toll on you if you do that over and over again. You need time away from the truck, and $300,000, I would agree if the guy had said that was before his expenses. Because you have your, especially if he's an owner-operator, you have your insurance, you have your certificates and permits, you have to make sure the maintenance is done. Fuel is another cost. Lumper fees for loading and unloading a trailer. Trailer expenses, because the trailer itself has different parts. Reefer fuel on it, whether anything breaks in the back of it. Sometimes there might be insurance on the load itself. All of these different things add up into your bottom line as an owner-operator. And you can't just go, well, yeah, I took those out. That's where I got $300,000. I've heard of truck drivers making $250,000. I have heard that, and that would be after their expenses. But that's not the normal in this industry. For the normal in this industry, you can easily make 6 figures as an owner-operator. And more than half of that's probably going to go to the truck if it's your first time running one. The longer you run a truck, the longer you own one, the longer that you lease one, the expenses go down. Because for every day that you're running the truck, you've got a load that's paid for on there that's helping with your expenses. So that builds up. The further and further you go from a payment that you've made on a lease truck, the less expensive it gets. And if you know that the first week out there on the road, okay, that's paying for my lease, all right, then that means weeks 2, 3, and 4, those are the weeks that you're actually getting paid out there. Now, if you're a company driver like we are, we don't have to worry about that stuff, but we still have to worry about when we're getting paid. And for us, that's just making sure the loads get there on time. Most companies don't penalize you for being late on them, but some may. And I'm not going to say every trucking company is the same. And especially for your first year is more than likely going to suck. That's just because a lot of the companies that will help you get your CDL don't pay well. They really don't. That's standard industry-wide. Now, there are some that do pay quite well, give you good benefits, but you have to find them. And not all of them are going to be hiring in your area. So keep that in mind when you go to look for this. As far as how much I get paid, stuff like that, like I said earlier, it's about $60,000 is probably what I'm going to make this year. And that's before I do my taxes at the end of the year, which I'll probably get some more back because I'm actually putting more in than what I'm making. And plus, you actually have a tax write-off if you're a long-distance trucker like I am. You have a per diem that you can put down for every day you're driving on the road. That is something that is non-taxable, and you can actually save quite a bit of money on that. So make sure you do your research before you just jump onto one of these companies, and make sure you look around. Talk to other people that you know. If you're thinking of a specific company, if there's a truck stop nearby, see if that trucking company that you want has any trucks there. If you never see any there, chances are they don't go past your house. And that could play into whether you'd actually want to work with them or not, because you might have a few hundred miles that you'd have to go just to get to the truck. So these are a few things to keep in mind, but that's what I've got. Make sure you do like and subscribe to this and share it with others, because I know there's others that would like this information and maybe it would help them. So share it with them, and that's all I've got. This is Raven's Vlog, and I'll see you later. He missed. He fucking whiffed on it. You whiffed on the mince.
Get off my truck!